Hello everybody, welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today I'm going to be doing my review of the G.I. Joe classified figure Breaker, who is part of the M.A.S.S. collection of figures by Hasbro. Now, not only am I going to be doing a review of him, but I'm also going to compare him to the original classified Breaker figure as well. So, with that being said, roll that intro. So here he is in packaging. Now you pretty much got your standard classified packaging here. So you got G.I. Joe on top, his name. You got the M.A.S.S. logo, G.I. Joe classified, your choking hazard and age restriction, plus the Hasbro logo. You get a window here where you can see all his accessories and the figure. Come around here. You got some artwork. I think it's all right. I've seen better, but you know, it's pretty good for what it is. G.I. Joe, his number. Come around to the back here. You have a couple of his play features. You get this nice picture of him with his element, which in this case is the meteorite. So that's pretty cool. You can see it behind him. So that's not a bad picture. You got a couple of sky strikers behind him as well. You got your legal here. Come around to this side. You got his stats, number, QR code. On top, you got the Joe Star and his number. And then underneath, you got more legal. So, all that being said, let's open him up and see what he's about. So here he is out of packaging. Now, we're going to get into his points of articulation first. So, the head does move. You got a shoulder joint with a swivel, an elbow joint, and a wrist joint. All right, get this other arm up. You do have a joint in the middle here. Kind of restricted because of his vest here. And then you also have one at the hips. You have a thigh joint with a swivel. A knee joint. Ooh, man, that's tight. But it is there. A swivel at the top of the boot. And you also have an ankle joint. So the knees are a little bit on the tight side, but they still work. I do like that. So now let's start looking at his finer details. So first off, you got the head sculpt. A little bit on the serious side, but it works. You know, at this side here, the front, back around to this side, and back to the front. Now, he got a lot going on here. So first off, he has this vest here, which is pretty nice. I do like it. There is a flip piece here that you can open up. It has some I guess power stats or what have you. So that's pretty cool. All right, close that up. All right, spin him around this side here. You can see he has some equipment on the side of his leg. Come around to the back. I believe this is for the silencer for his pistol or the muzzle flash, whatever it is. Come around to this side. Get a better look at his arm with the watch. Bring this arm up. And you can also see more gear on his leg and the holster for his pistol. And back around to the front. So nothing really amazing, but what he has still works for him. Now, the one thing I'm noticing about him and that I would have liked to have seen is the ability to take this vest off. I would have liked to have been able to take that off, because if you did, then you would have more of the classic, you know, Breaker look without it. So now let's see everything that he comes with. So first off, he comes with an alternate head. And this one is him doing the iconic blowing of the bubble gum. All right, he comes with a pistol But like I said, I forget if that's a silencer or a muzzle flash suppressor, but it does come off. Alright. He comes with a small knife. Alright. He comes with, of course, his, element here. That's pretty cool. He also comes with a helmet. Alright. Comes with a backpack. That's his iconic communications backpack here. And last but not least, he comes with a hose for that backpack. So now let's start seeing how all this works with them. So first off, let's do these weapons. So let's do the pistol first. That finger in there. There we go. So that works. And the knife does work. Stay on that stand. Alright. So the pistol and the knife does work with him. I have no issues with those. Let's get this in here where it belongs. Get the pistol in its spot. And I guess this goes right back here. Alright. So that kind of fits in there. I don't know if that's what it's originally made for. Oops. But it does sit in there. And the pistol sits here. And then the knife is up top. So now, let's see how well his gear works on him. Let's get this helmet on. Went on very easily. The backpack. Now you have a hole here for this hose to plug in. And then into the back of his helmet here. Alright, so there we go. Alright, so as you can see, the backpack fits on him nice. The same with the cord that goes back in his helmet, just like the original figure. Alright. So all that works very well with him. No issues with this head. Now we're going to try it with the other head. Alright. Alright, that popped off pretty easily. That in there. That there. Just for fun. Have him hold this thing here. I'll get to that in a minute. But as you can see, there he is. The bubble blowing head. No issues. Now we'll put this on. So you can also have him holding the element as well with no issues. So if you want to display him holding it, you can, and what have you. So everything seems to work pretty well with this figure. All right, so here's the original Breaker here. He's the one that came with the RAM and what have you. And then, of course, on the other side, you have the new one. So I'm going to just call them old and new, just, make life easier. So as you can see, they're both totally different figures. You look at the sleeves, so you look at his sleeves, you see that they come down to the forearm, opposed to him, where they're more curled up right below the shoulder, right around the bicep, which I believe is how it was like in the cartoon and what have you. So that is totally different. You can see the two head sculpts are totally different as well. So if you're looking at the old one, You know, his hair's a little bit more rugged, a little bit longer, and what have you. Where when you look at the new one, you can see it's a better, smoother cut, and what have you. So that is that as well. The new one has pouches on his legs. The old one doesn't. They both still have knee pads, but they're different style knee pads. The same with their boots. The boots are styled different. His boots sit higher. His kind of sits a little bit lower to the cuff. So there's not many similarities to these guys. So they definitely used a whole different body cast for them. They didn't reuse the original figure, which is pretty good. Also, he has gloves, he doesn't. Even the helmets are different. So when you look at these helmets, this is the new Breaker helmet. It fits a little bit more to the look of the original figure, and of course it has the plug here in the back. All right. And then when you see the old Breaker's helmet, you'll see that there's a lot of gear around the back of the helmet. And as you notice, there's no plug here, because one of my big disappointments with this particular figure, and he also has these glasses too on there. And now back to what I was saying. My biggest disappointment with this figure was he did not come with his communications backpack, which I never understood why they didn't give it to him. I mean, he's riding a motorcycle, so it isn't like it would interfere with the vehicle that he came with. I did wind up getting a custom backpack for him, which was pretty nice. But it still isn't the Breaker backpack. So that was probably my biggest disappointment with this one, was that he didn't have his communications backpack, which obviously the newer one does. All right, so let me get into my final thoughts with him. So first off, all his joints work pretty well. I had no issues with them. Yeah, the knees were a little bit tight, but they still moved without any kind of heat or whatever, so I'm cool with that. All his accessories worked very well with him. Didn't have any issues with any of his accessories and so forth. Um, the head swapped out very well as well, so I don't have any issues with that. I do like the overall look to this guy. I think he's a great looking figure overall. Compared to the original classified figure, I still like him a little bit better. I mean, there's obviously some, differences between the two of them. And I kind of actually like that a lot too, that he isn't just a repaint, that they actually took some time and made him different from the original Breaker figure. Plus, I also like the factor that this one they actually gave him his, communications backpack, opposed to the other one that didn't have it. So probably my only real pet peeve with this guy, and it's a personal one, this is not a major thing, is I wish this vest was removable, just because of the factor that I feel like if I could get this vest off of him, he would have a more classic Breaker look, like almost like the original 13 kind of look. So I would have liked to have seen this vest removable. But other than that, would I recommend this figure? Absolutely. I think he's a good figure. I like the overall look. I like the accessory that he comes with. It's just a shame that unfortunately he wasn't an exclusive figure. So that means, he sold out in a matter of seconds, or actually maybe even minutes, but he sold out before most of us could even get a hold of him and what have you. I got lucky. I found him at a really good deal. So I, jumped on that real quick. And so now I have him. But if you could find him for a good price, I would recommend getting this guy. So with that being said, I hope you all did like this review. If you did, go ahead and check out my G.I. Joe playlist and hit that like, share, and subscribe. They're all small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So until the next one, late.